What's going on? John back on another video. Today I want to talk to you about motivation. Often during your financial journeys, you are going to find that there's a part where you are no longer motivated to continue. That fire that you had that made you want to get out of debt and change a family tree and all the things that we say that sound really good, all the finish line stuff, right? All of that is going to fade at one point when you're in the weeds, when you are having to pay the bills and having to make the sacrifices. All of a sudden, the motivation is not going to be as clear as it was in those first few months. And let's be honest, most of us, when we start a journey like this, especially if you're trying to get out of debt, a lot of us are embarking on a journey that we know up front is something that's going to take years, right? Like a lot of people start with like mountains of debt, sometimes tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, it depends. So you're signing up for something that is a long haul. So the question is, what happens? What do you do if you are no longer motivated to continue? My answer to that is a simple one, but perhaps one that people might find harsh. I think that a lot of us look at this wrong. I don't think it's about the motivation. Motivation is good for getting you to start. It's great because you feel empowered to get off the couch, to stop spending frivolously, to do something that might be in your best interest, even though it seems really hard. That's really what motivation is for, to show you in those first few weeks of something that it's possible, even if it seems improbable. But motivation doesn't get you across the finish line. Motivation is something that is necessarily fleeting because it relies on a scenario that can't stay the same way. Your circumstances are never going to be what they were when you started and had all of that motivation. Motivation comes in a place, think about it, when you have not done anything yet, but you're imagining what life will be once you've already finished. That's really what motivation is. People are imagining themselves in better shape. They're imagining themselves with more money. They're imagining themselves happy with their spouses. They're imagining themselves with the best friendships and relationships and a better job. They're imagining themselves graduating from college. Motivation comes from imagination. And while that's great to get you started, the thing that's going to get you past the finish line is going to be discipline. Discipline, the ability to follow a process, even when it does not make you feel good, the ability every day to take a little chunk out of the goal, a little bit at a time, again and again and again and again. That is what's going to get you there. So I honestly do not feel like it's a matter of motivation. I feel like for too long, we have used motivation as a crutch to be able to say we should and should not do things because it doesn't feel good or it does feel good. See, motivation, the problem with motivation is really a symptom of a larger problem that we have in society, which is how we treat our mental health. Like anything, having good mental health is about balance. It's not about all or nothing. So in my view, the people who say, ignore your feelings altogether and just do the hard things all the time, they've got it wrong. Likewise, the people who say, only do things that make you feel good all the time, also have it wrong. The truth is, there's going to be times where you feel really good about where you are, and there's going to be times where you feel like absolute crap about where you are. What you need to be able to take stock of is the goal that I have still one that I hold today? And are the actions that I'm taking getting me closer to that goal? That's it. That's all you need to understand. Because what this is really about is making sure the version of you in the future is going to be happy about the choices that you are making today. It's not about feeling good. Should you feel good sometimes? Of course. You should not spend years depressed. Something has to change then, right? But you should also not spend years only doing things that make you smile. because you're not challenging yourself then. I believe that life is not worth living without challenges. I also don't believe life is worth living without happiness. You have to have both. That's what I think a truly healthy, mentally healthy person looks like. Someone who knows that challenges are good and that they should seek them out if they want to be challenged mentally, if they want to get themselves to the next level, and that happiness is something that is a part of our human experience. We cannot spend our entire lives miserable because we're seeking out some very, very difficult goal. So, unfortunately, in our society today, we flip-flop back and forth. The pendulum just swings. We came out of an era, with most of our parents and grandparents where you just did the things no matter what, and people didn't have time to think about their mental health. But now we are in the opposite, where everyone seems to be worried about their mental condition, to the point where I honestly believe that some people can't tell the difference between things that are genuinely toxic and bad for them and things that are just difficult and good for them. And your inability to tell the difference between those two things really is going to determine how healthy you are. Have you ever noticed that people who do nothing difficult don't necessarily always seem happy? Like, if your life has zero difficulty, in a way, you're causing difficulty for yourself. Conflict is necessary. It's natural. People who seem to have the least amount of conflict seem to always find conflict. So it's going to find you. Really, the choice is, are you going to be making up conflict, or are you going to seek out conflict that's going to actually make your life better? All of this is going to be work. It's just about choices. You're going to have to decide if the work that you do is going to be monotonous and in search of something that really can't be found, like ultimate happiness always, or is it going to be in pursuit of making your lives and the lives around you better? So, the next time you feel demotivated, ask yourself a couple of questions. One, is the goal that I had before still true? Do I still want this? Outside of not feeling good about it today. And if I was to quit or if I was to continue, what would the future me feel about that? Will I look back with regret if I decide to not continue because it got hard? Is the only reason that I'm not continuing because it's hard? Those are going to be the answer to those questions. Those are going to be the things that determine whether or not you either do the things that are good for you or you do the things that feel good for you. Motivation is great in the beginning. Don't confuse demotivation with not doing things in your best interest. Thank you.